Coming up on today's Rugby World Cup Daily, we're in the deep south as we preview the Scotland-Georgia match. And speaking of Georgia, on the eve of their first match of Rugby World Cup 2011, the Georgians took time out of their schedule to go back to school. And no doubt now for the big match you're going to have a lot of locals supporting Georgia.
I hope so.
I suppose you're just looking forward to having that first game.
Yes, of course. Our first game is very important. How we enter the competition is really, really important. We are preparing for this game for a long time now.
Tisbury kids are rocking it. Tisbury kids are tops.
We had breakfast with the Georgian rugby team and we asked them to sign some stuff. They were really glad to sign it for us. And the manager gave us a couple of little souvenirs of this badge and a couple of key rings.
I got more response than
One feature of the World Cup so far has been the performances of the so-called developing nations. And two teams eager to follow that trend are Samoa and Namibia, who face off tomorrow in Rotorua.
We have a large amount of players that are drawn from the domestic competition in Namibia, but we've also got significant professionals like Jack Berger, like Jack Nivenez, that help them along, and it's credit to them that they want to play with those players, and it's credit to those players that play within Namibia that they lift their game at this time.
It's tough coming back and coming back and playing with amateur guys, strictly because they don't believe they're good enough, They don't have that belief where they believe they can compete against the best, and I really believe we've got some players in our team who are good enough. They are good enough to play against the best sides in the world. So trying to convince some of the boys that they are good enough to play there is the most frustrating part of it.
We really don't have a lot of numbers. I think that the reality of the matter is we're a big country with only 2.2 million people. I think we're amongst the top 5 sparsely populated countries in the world. So we have a lot of land, and we have a very limited amount of rugby players to count on. I think we're just under 10,000 or something like that. I might be wrong, but the figure is very, very low.
Well, I'm a bit of a romantic as well, so obviously we want to win, but if we can't achieve a win, I'd like to get back on the aeroplane to go back to Namibia, being proud of what we've achieved, and I think that's if we do that, we'll have made a lot of people in Namibia very proud of us as well.
Our biggest challenge obviously is financially. Unlike New Zealand, where the #1 sport is pretty much rugby, in our case, as is the case with any other African country, football, soccer sort of dominates. Rugby comes in 3rd or 4th. It's ranked about 3rd or 4th, but the numbers are growing because we're doing very, very well in terms of schools rugby, but we tend to lose our players the moment they finish school and go into varsity because we can't offer them professional opportunities to stay in the country and play rugby.
More coming up, but first the latest from All Black legend Buck Shelford.
Keep checking back each week for more Rugby World Cup questions and answers with me, Buck Shelford.
Georgia's match against Ireland remains one of the abiding memories of the 2007 World Cup in France. And finally today, we look ahead to the European Nations Cup champions' first match, this time around against Scotland.
Realistically, the squad and the coaching team have really only had 4 months together, but we've tried to create more balance in our team, but obviously we won't be negating our strengths in our attempts to do so. But we would hope to have a more balanced team this time, but obviously yes, our forwards are very strong.
What makes you the team that everyone seems to fall in love with?
I think the New Zealand public are rugby people. They also understand that indeed for all of our party this is the first time they've ever been in New Zealand. So I think that they are, as you and I would expect, New Zealand people that want to take them to their heart and make them feel very, very welcome. The boys have given their full heart to the visit. It's not just been a chore for the players to do. They have got into the whole thing wholeheartedly. And even this morning when we were visiting the primary school, the people there, they were somewhat taken aback, I think, with how generous of spirit our Georgian boys are.
And for their part, the Scots are paying the Georgians every respect and leaving no stone unturned as they look for their second win of the tournament.
No, we've got to win the battle up front to begin with. We've got to make sure our set pieces are very good. We know the strength of the Georgian team is predominantly in the pack, They have moved their game on. They are playing much more rugby, but they're powerful up front. Probably one of the most physical challenges we'll face, no matter who plays in the World Cup. So we've got to match that and beat that.
When we got good ball, we carved the Romanians up very well and scored some cracking tries. Obviously we want more of the same, and we want to get that ball out to our backs more than we did against Romania. But yeah, it was fantastic performances by the guys when they got the opportunity to do so.
Coming up tomorrow, Samoa kick off their campaign against Namibia in Rotorua. Canada take on the might of Tonga and Whangarei. And don't forget those Georgians who are out for their first World Cup scalp against Scotland. We'll see you then.